Hello everyone, and welcome to the second tutorial in Unreal Engine, where we try to understand the engine a little bit better and how to design sound for interactive experiences using Unreal Engine. Today, I'm going to assume that you already downloaded the Epic launcher, and I'm going to assume that you already got some of the tutorials that they have for the Unreal Learning, because we're going to be looking at one of them today. We're going to open the project and we're going to take a look at some of the things that the editor have to offer and getting ready to design sounds for the experience. So if you downloaded the Epic launcher, it's going to look like this, and then we're just going to go to Unreal Engine, which is right here. And through that, go to the library. And in the library, I have all sorts of versions installed. That's because I work on a lot of different projects. I recommend not getting the latest one, meaning 5.4, but something that is one before the latest one, or like even two before the latest one. And I'll tell you why, because the latest one is usually a lot of experimental stuff, and sometimes some things tend to break in the newest versions. So usually, just to get a safe one that I know that will work pretty well and is stable enough for me to play around with, I would take either 5.1 or 5.2. Here I'm going to use like 5.3, but not the latest one, which is currently 5.4. So whatever is the latest, when you're looking at it, just take one or two versions before that. And I'm going to show you how to set up our project. So I'm going to go through my Vault, which is right here, and I'm going to just type in hour of code. I already got it from the store, but if you're looking to get it and you're not sure where, you're just going to go to the marketplace, look at the free ones, UE Online Learning, and you can find a lot of different learnings here. I'm just going to type hour of code. And there it is. That's the one. And if you want to follow the tutorials that explain to you how to build that level and have fun with this a little bit, then it's going to be right here. You click on this and you go through all of the tutorials. So we're going to go to our library and we're going to create a new project from Unreal Engine Hour of Code. Create a project, and immediately it prompts me to open it with 4.26. That's okay. We want to open it with 5, and I know for a fact this project opens in Unreal 5. But for now, we're just going to set it up as 4.6. It's basically going to offer me the versions that the tutorial suggests to open it with, which is either 4.25 or 4.26. Let's give it a name. Sure, something like that. And we're just going to click Create. So it created my project, and my project should appear here. Let's look at it. UE, where is it? UE YouTube tutorial, and it will open. If I click on it here, it's going to open in 4.26. So I'm not going to do that. I just know that the project is here. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click the launch over here on the top part. Now, if there is a different version that you want to use, you just click this like drop down and you pick a different editor. So maybe we can try with Unreal Engine 5.3. So I have this, and now I'm just going to hit launch. So there you go. It opened Unreal Engine 5, and now it's asking me which projects I want to use. So it shows me the recent project. It shows me templates for different games or different productions that I might want to do on Unreal. Because I don't want to start with an empty scene, I want to start with like a functioning game that I can put my sound on. I'm going to go to recent project, and I'm going to look for that project that I opened. UE audio YouTube tutorial, that's the one. So I'm going to click on that and click open. And then it's going to tell me this project was made with a different the Epic team suggests you to do. But since I already know that it's going to open, I'm pretty sure that I don't need another copy of it on my device. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click more options and then convert in place. Again, if it's important for you to have the original project and the project in the new engine, then you can always make a copy. I'm just pretty sure about this one that it's going to work because I tried it before. All right, once Unreal opened, it's going to look something like this. This is Unreal Engine 5. 4 looks a little different, and the first thing that you'll notice if you came from Unity or from Unreal 4 is that the game view is much, much bigger. I love that because that's most of where you're spending your time in. So it makes total sense that the screen is going to become so much bigger. The other thing in Unreal is the screens or windows that are on the right side, and there are a few of them. The first one is the level. And the levels are different levels that are based on tutorials that were created for like explaining to you how to navigate and build things in this experience. So if you go through the YouTube tutorials, and I'm going to link them in the descriptions for that video, then you're going to be going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these ones just shows you the ending of each one of them. So here I have like level 1 ending on or off, so I can see what it's going to look like when I finish each one of the levels. The other one is the outliner. The outliner is showing me the entire hierarchy of everything that is in my scene. It's showing me all of the lights, all of the different blueprints. Blueprints are like classes of things that have code associated to them. All of the different buildings, here are clouds, for example. And if I want to zoom in on any of them, all I need to do is press on them and then hover over the main screen and hit F. And then it's going to take me to where that object is. And I can see that each one of them is an object in my scene. The main important object to know about is the start place. So if I click here and I go F, this is player start. So whenever I start a new experience, it's going to start from here. Under that, we can see details, which is the details of that specific object that I chose. If it has some components that are associated to it, if it has blueprints in it, all of it is going to show up in this like little detail panel, plus the transform position, objects that is start tag with, and all of the different components that are associated with that specific item. And next to it, I'm going to see the world setting. So this is things that are overall in the world building of this experience. Every world is going to be different. And as I said, Unreal is usually designed for high-end experiences where you think about the overall details of everything. So they put it right here where it's comfortable to see all of the details together. And that's going to be generalized rules that are going to be applied all over your experience. And if we look at what we care about, which is sound, we can see few options for audio. We have default reverb settings. So no matter, even if we have different reverb zones, which we're going to cover in the future, here is where we're going to define just the general overall reverb that is going to be applied no matter where you are in the experience. We also have different bass sound mix, so we can create that as well. And again, we're going to go over all of those in the next episodes. I can also choose the level here. So right now I'm seeing what is the current level, which is the persistent one, but I can go through 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and see the endings of each one of the levels. Last but not least is the little buttons here on the bottom. So the first one is your content drawer. Your content drawer is going to include everything that you want to use for the experience. It's kind of like if you are baking a cake. This is going to be your fridge where you get ingredients for the cake. Now, you might not use all of the ingredients in your fridge, but here are all of the ingredients that you can use. So everything that we need for the experience is going to be stored here. For example, the sounds that you're going to be importing in are going to be stored here in a different folder. And if you go through the folders, you can look up different things that are in this experience. For example, if I go through the teacher marketplace, I can see in the assets that it has props and sound effects, VFX, it has the character, probably it's the animation. Yeah, I was right, that's the character animation. So this is where all of the content is going to live. Next to it, I have the output log, which is an equivalent to the console in Unity. So that's just going to print things like a receipt. And every time something is happening in the experience, I'm going to see that appearing here. The last thing is the command line. And the command line gives me either command or Python. That's because this is just code. Everything that you're seeing here is rendering code. So we can use code to talk to it. If you don't ever want to use code, you don't have to, but this is a very good way of debugging your experience. So for example, I can write something like stats and FPS. Now it's going to show me the frame per second count wherever I am in the experience. And if I move around, it's just going to stay available here and going to show me the FPS. So apparently, if I go outside, you see the FPS changes because there's a little bit more to render on the screen. And as I'm moving, of course, it drops in frames per second and then it goes a little up. If I want to remove it and I don't like it, I just type stat FPS 0 and then it's going to go away. In the same way, I can also debug all of my audio. So if I write stat audio, it's going to show me all of the stats for the audio in my experience. And again, currently I don't have a lot of audio running, so I'm going to see mostly zeros. But throughout the experience, you can use that to debug and understand a little bit more of what is happening behind the scene. To make it go away, stat audio 0, and it goes away. By the way, this message about lighting here, I'm just going to ignore it for now. This is part of the rendering of lights. I just don't care, and it doesn't take away from my experience, so I'm just going to ignore it for now. All right, let's hit play. So here's my little character, and I can see that I can run around and move my camera. So I'm moving my camera with the mouse, and I'm moving my character using WASD. And here's the first level. So the first thing that they wanted to teach me is collision. So this little target doesn't have collision, so I'm just going to fall all the way through it. Whoop. And now I can't get out. So I'm stuck in here. And what it's trying to teach me is how to create collision and how to add more of those disks. So let's just assume that I've been through those tutorials and I've done all of it. Or maybe I'm just lazy and don't want to go through them and just want to see the ending. I'm going to go to levels and I'm going to launch level 1 ending. Now I have my platforms and now I can run through them and all of them have collision boxes. Let's hit play again. But oh no, even though level 1 is selected, I can only see it in edit mode, but not in game mode. Why is that? It's because I need to change the setting to allow this to render while I'm in game mode. So I'm going to right click on it, change streaming mode. And I know you can't see like the little drop down from it, but just believe me, it says blueprint and always loaded. We want to pick always loaded. So after picking always loaded, now I can hit play. And now I'm going to see those targets here, and now I can safely run through my experience. All right, now this is enough for today. I'm going to leave you with that. Hopefully you're going to go through some of the tutorials and you'll get yourself more familiarized with the level and what we are building. So go ahead and go through as many as you can. And if you want to skip some of them and just like look at the beautiful experience, you can do that. And the one challenge you have until the next episode is to get yourself the audio assets that you need, because we're not going to go over how to create the assets, but we're just going to go over how to implement them. So my best advice is to use an asset tracking sheet where you just write yourself all of the cues that you think that are needed in the experience, and then you go and collect the sounds that are needed for that. So until next time, have fun with some sounds and good luck on the level.